Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2019 Static Monsters World Championship here on the Gold Coast at the beautiful Carrara Indoor Stadium. Thanks to sponsors Explosive Ape, Coco's Gym, Champion Physio, All Metal Magic, Stand or Submit, Alpha Fit, and of course, T Nutrition. First up today, we'll be having the 62.5 and the 72.5 kilo ladies. We've got quite a cosmopolitan field all over Australia and Southeast Asia, USA. And the lifting order will be as follows. Opening on 50 kilos will be Chloe Burney from South Australia, followed by Zoe Winter from Queensland, Juanita Thompson from Victoria on 55, Ellis Taylor from Singapore on 55. The bar will then move to 62.5 for Ariel Shard, Huey Min Yu, Kalana DeSena Fernandez, 67.5 for Carly Oliveira, the American. The Victorian Tanya Duncan up to a big 72.5 kilos. Ray Vogler on 75. Camila Fognagnolo on 80 kilos. And the Australian record holder, Lucia Delanocci, will be stamping her authority on this event with a 95 kilo opening log press attempt. Looks like we've got about 60 seconds before we'll have the first lift. And if Jason will just put the lifters back on, that would be fantastic. The Chloe Burney will be our opening lifter with that 50 kilo attempt. We'll be assisted here by, or John Wells will be the head judge for this part of the contest, assisted by Colin Webb and Drew Spriggs. So stand by. As soon as I get the call from head judge John Wells, we'll have Chloe on deck for her opening lift today. Well, it looks like we've got judges in position. Looks like loaders have dutifully put 50 kilos on the bar. So Chloe Burney from South Australia, a log is loaded with 50 kilos for your opening lift, the first lift at the Static Monsters World Championship. Please welcome to the stage, Chloe Burney. After Chloe, you have Zoe Winter and Juanita Thompson in that order. Here we gets a down call and the thumbs up from the judges. A good lift, and we're off to a solid start here. The bar will stay at 50 kilos, or the log will stay at 50 kilos rather, for Zoe Winter. Your bar's loaded. Zoe Winter, the Queenslander, opening on 50 kilos in the 72.5 kilo ladies class. Gets a down call and some thumbs up there. Good lift there for Zoe. That bar will now go to 55 kilos, please, loaders. For the first time today, our professional loading team springs into action with 55 kilos. There we go, okay. Looks like there might be some collars going on as well. Juanita Thompson, the Victorian, will be opening on 55 kilos. The heaviest of the log presses so far today, of course, but it's only 3 lifts in the competition. Okay, the bar is loaded for Juanita Thompson from Victoria. Looking pretty good there from Juanita Thompson. Couple of thumbs up from Colin and John Wells. A good lift there, all good lifts so far. Don't forget, competitors, give your second lift to the table. The bar will stay at 55 for Ellis Taylor, our first international athlete. Ellis Taylor from Singapore, your bar's loaded. After Ellis Taylor will be Ariel Ashard, Huey Min Yu, and Kalana de Fernandez. Bit of a stumble at the top to make it exciting there. And we got a couple of thumbs up, so a good lift there for Ellis Taylor from Singapore. In the bar will now go to 62.5 for the Queenslander Ariel Ashard. And we'll stay that way for Huey Min Yu and Kalana de Fernandez in that order. The log is loaded now for Ariel Ashard here in the 62.5 kilo ladies division. Gets a down call and a couple of thumbs up. Good lift there from Ariel. Over her body weight there. Strong start for Ariel, the Queenslander. The bar will stay at 72.5 for Huey Min Yu. Singapore, the bar is loaded, Huey Min. She won her division at the Singapore Static Monsters this year. Very strong press there from Huey. The bar will stay at 62.5 for Kalana de Fernandez from Hong Kong. The bar's loaded. She placed a third in her division at Static Monsters Hong Kong. One of 14 countries that hosted the event this year. Good lift there for Kalana. We've had all good lifts so far. The bar will now go to 67.5 kilos for Carly Oliveira from the USA. After Carly, we'll have Tanya Duncan, Ray Vogler, Camilla Fogagnolo, and Lucia Della Gnocchi to round out this flight. So 67.5 will go on the bar for Carly. If you're playing along up in the stands there, you'll see that in the digital age, we have a whiteboard and marker with the total on the bar, 67.5. Will be diligently updated throughout the day. But here goes Carly Oliveira from the US. The woman from Boise, Indiana, with a good opening lift there, 67.5. Bar will stay to 72.5, please, 72.5. So we're loading 72.5 in the bar for Tanya Duncan, the Victorian, followed by Ray Vogler, Camilla Fogagnolo, and Lucia Della Gnocchi. Looks like we're loaded and ready to go with a 72.5 on the bar, please, for Tanya Duncan. Out of Cranbourne, Victoria, made the trip up for the Static Monsters World Champs. A little bit of time on the clock to have a second crack at this. Here she goes, Tanya Duncan out of Victoria, opening on a 72.5 kilo a log press. The heaviest a log press attempt so far. Just out of gas there. She'll have another attempt at that, no doubt, shortly. The bar will go to 75 now. 75 for Ray Vogler. She's a Queenslander training out of Coco's gym. While the diligently load the bar to that 75 kilos. Thank you to Explosive Ape, the Strongman apparel company, who's been a fantastic supporter of this event last year and this, as well as other strength events across the planet. Thank you to Uchit. And the bar is loaded for Ray Vogler. 75 kilos and a nice little roar on her way up there. Come on, Ray. Gets a thumbs up there. Biggest press so far today for Ray. 75 kilos in the books. The bar will now go to 80 kilos. 80 kilos for Camilla. Of course, while we're loading that bar, remind you the sponsors at Coco's Gym and Champion Physiotherapy. James Grafton's offering support to the athletes. And looks like the bar is loaded now for Camilla. Here she is, Camilla Fogagnolo. She's coming from Tasmania. It's 80 kilo. There she goes. Gets a thumbs up. She wanted to make it look hard for a bit of drama there. But 80 kilos, that is the biggest log press so far. But we have this woman still to come. The Australian record holder in this event has called for a 95 kilo opener. Her name is Lucia Oxhi. She trains out of Coco's gym here on the Gold Coast. You won't see many stronger women on the planet than this. 95 kilo opening a log press attempt. Looks like the bar is loaded. Welcome to Static Monsters 2000 to Lucia Oxhi. Very, very easy log press there for the Australian record holder with 95 kilos. The bar will go back to 55 for Chloe Burney. Lifting in the second attempt will go in this order. Chloe Burney, Zoe Winter, Juanita Thompson, Ellis Taylor. Okay, so lifting order is as follows. Chloe Burney will be 55, Zoe Winter, Juanita Thompson, Ellis Taylor, Ariel Shard, Huey Min Alu, Lana DeSena Fernandez, Carly Oliveira, Tanya Duncan, Ray Vogler, Camilla Fognolo, and Lucia Delanocchi. 55 bar is loaded for Chloe Burney, the South Australian. We saw Chloe press a 50 earlier today, attempting a 55 now in the 72.5 kilo ladies class. Straight after this class finishes, we'll have the 80 kilo and the 90 kilo men following up. If you're an 80 or 90 kilo man, you need to give your openers because at the moment you're all opening on 160 kilos. Good lift there for Chloe Burney, 55 kilos in the books in the 72.5 kilo class. The bar will stay at 55 for Zoe Winter, the Queenslander. The bar's loaded. Zoe also open on a 50 kilo. She's moved to 55 in the same way as Chloe. Gets a down call and gets a handful of thumbs up there from the judges. Good lifting there from Zoe Winter. The bar now goes to 57.5. 57.5 for Juanita Thompson. Juanita will be followed by Ellis Taylor, Ariel Shard, and Kalana Desena de Fernandez. There we go. Here we have Juanita Thompson here, the Victorian, 57.5 for her second attempt. We saw Juanita with a successful 55 on her first attempt. She's got enough time for one more crack at this, the 57.5. She did get 55 on her opener. She'll be hoping to get this 7.5 on her second attempt. Fortunately, she's missed that on her second attempt. She will have another crack, no doubt, on her third attempt shortly. The bar now goes to 60 kilos for Ellis Taylor, the Singaporean. After Ellis, we'll have Ariel Shard, Kalana Desena Fernandez, and Huey Min Yu. The bar is now getting loaded to 60 kilos for Ellis Taylor. Another big thank you to our sponsors, All Metal Magic, who made some fantastic trophies. If you're here in the Carrara Indoor Sports Arena, come and check out the trophies. If you're watching at home, you're just going to have to believe me. But here we go, onto the stage. We have the Singaporean Ellis Taylor. Open on 55 kilos, has called a jump to 60 kilos for her second attempt. Just got away from her a little bit there. She's shown plenty of pressing power. Got about 30 seconds left. Probably enough time for one more attempt. Just timed out there, Ellis, on that second attempt. She'll have another crack at that shortly, I'm sure. Missed lift there for Ellis Taylor. The bar will now go to 65 kilos for Ariel Shard, followed by Kalana Desena Fernandez. Look at that very solid looking press there from Ariel Shard with 65 kilos, the 62.5 kilo ladies. Bar will stay at 65, so the bar's loaded for Kalana Desena Fernandez from Hong Kong. It stays at 65 for Kalana, all the way from Hong Kong. She was third place in her division in the Hong Kong Static Monsters, which just demonstrates how strong this contest is across the 14 countries worldwide. And 522 athletes attempting to qualify for this meet. Very, very strong, Kalana. And a handful of thumbs up lifting there, Kalana Desena Fernandez. The bar now goes to 67.5 for Huey Min Yu. Bar is loaded, 67.5 kilos. We saw Min open on a 62.5. She's called a jump to 67.5 for her second attempt. Another international athlete over from Singapore. And she won her division at the Singapore Static Masters this year. Bit of a dance to the top to give everyone a fright, but thumbs up in the end. Good lifting there, Min. Bar now goes to 72.5, 72.5 for Carly Oliveira. From the USA, we saw Carly open on 67.5. We called 72.5 as her second lift. Somewhere around 140 something pounds if you're in America, if you're in Boise, Indiana. The bar is alone for Carly with 72.5 kilos. Travelled out from the USA to compete. Just one of a number of international athletes competing today. You've got plenty of time for a second attempt here. This is 72.5 kilos. She did successfully press 67 a few minutes ago. Still got 20 seconds. Still got 20 seconds. About 15 seconds left on the clock for Carly to have a final crack at this weight. This is a 72.5 kilos. And that's time, unfortunately, for Carly. She'll miss that 72.5. She does have a third attempt coming up, though. Tanya Duncan's next lift, 72.5, will stay on the bar for Tanya Duncan, her second attempt at this weight. Bar's loaded for Tanya Duncan out of Victoria. Tanya will be followed by Ray Vogler, Camilla Fogagnolo, and Lucia Delanochi. Other sponsors we've got today, of course, Stand or Submit, who's massive in supporting us, strength sports in Australia, Alpha Fit as well as THS Nutrition. Here we go for Tanya Duncan out of Victoria, 72.5. She did miss this on her first attempt. It's her second attempt at this weight. She's got about 15 seconds up her sleeve. She's got one more attempt at this. We don't have... Unfortunately, that's a missed lift for... Now she will have a third attempt shortly. The bar will now be loaded to 80 kilos for Ray Vogler. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Carrara Indoor Sports Arena, go check out the lovely Rachel there at THS Nutrition. There she is with her hand up in the air like she just don't care. She's got some samples over there to try. You can scam some free samples and not buy anything, or better still, go buy something. She's got FPOS, there's no excuses. Go support the people who support our sport. Get some X50 products, and I've got a list here, but I can't get to it. But you'll have to go see Rachel and go find out. This is a Ray Vogler, 80 kilo second attempt. A super solid looking 75 opener for Ray. There we go, and a quiet little yes from Ray. She's pleased with that. And a good lift for the judges as well, that 80 kilos. The bar will now go to 85 kilos for Camilla Fogagnolo. Just like gnocchi with less potatoes, I'm told. 85 kilos for Camilla, the Tasmanian, up here with her brother lifting after competing in Static Monsters. And it looks like the bar is loaded with 85 kilos for Camilla. She did press 80 kilos with ease a few minutes ago. Here's 85 kilos to go above her head for the 72.5 kilo athlete. A fair bit of time on the clock here. She's got a good 30 seconds left. This is an 85 kilo attempt for Camilla Fognolo. She's having a quiet word to the bar, letting her know that it'd be nice if you went above my head today. 85 kilos. Here she goes. Get behind her, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see Camilla. And unfortunately, I missed a lifter there. She has a third attempt coming up, though. And now we've got something pretty special here for the third attempt. The Scolar record holder, Lucia Nocci, equaled her Australian record with a 95 kilo opener, has called for 100 kilos. This, I believe, will be the first Australian woman in any weight division to press 100 kilos, and she'll be doing it in the 72 and a half. So we are loading this log to 100 kilos for the Queenslander, Lucia Nocci. Current Australian record holder will be attempting 100 kilos as her second attempt. The bar is loaded for Lucia. Get behind her, ladies and gentlemen. Our first Australian record attempt. The first Australian woman to press this weight, regardless of body weight. She's got plenty of time. She's still got about 40 seconds on the clock. She's got tons of time. Let's see who to do this, ladies and gentlemen. 100 kilos. She's still got another 20 seconds on the clock. She's got time. Come on, Lucia. No Australian woman has ever pressed this weight. This will be her final crack at it, I'm sure. Oh, very close. Unfortunately, she's timed out and said bother. But she does have a third attempt shortly. So we're back to the start of the flight again. Fantastic flight of lifting. The biggest press of the day, still Lucia with 95 kilos. Following her shortly behind, Camilla and Ray have both pressed 80. We're back to Chloe Burney with 57.5 shortly. I just wanted to thank Alpha Fit for supporting this event today. These fantastic crash pads that are protecting this floor from this log. If you don't have them in your gym, you really should get on board them, Alpha Fit. Looks like we've got that bar loaded at the moment with 57.5 for Chloe Burney, the South Australian. There we go. Been a good day at the office so far for Chloe, 57.5 kilos. I'd love to tell you what's up next, but Jason's hiding it from me. Going to be a surprise to all of us in just a moment. There we go. It stays at 57.5 for Winita Thompson will be the next athlete. In this order, after that will be Winita Thompson, Zoe Winter, Ellis Taylor. But we'll go to 57.5. Big Callum Haggerty, Australian master wrestling champion, moving it in position. And the bar is loaded. Winita Thompson, Victorian, 57.5 kilos, second attempt. These great athlete t-shirts with Explosive Ape, of course, supporting the event today, as they do a number of strongman events around the world. But here we go. Winita Thompson, second attempt at this weight, 57.5. Her best press so far today is 55. Oh, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It took her a while, and there's some thumbs up all around for Winita Thompson, the Victorian, 57.5 kilo press. The bar will now go to 60 kilos, please, for Zoe Winter. After Zoe, have Ellis Taylor, Ariel Shard, and Kalana De Sena Fernandez. The best press then for both Chloe and Winita is 57.5 kilos. Looks like we have the bar is loaded with 60 kilos for Zoe Winter from the Queenslander. Zoe's been solid so far, 50 kilos, 55, and she's scored 60 for a third. About 30 seconds left. Okay, there we go. Unfortunately, a missed lift there for Zoe. Best lift today will be 55. The bar will stay at 60. The bar for Ellis from Singapore, 60 kilos. Missed it on her second attempt. She opened on 55. She's attempting this for her final log press attempt. Gets a down call, a good lifting there. Yep. Now we got Ariel Shard, 67.5 on the bar for Ariel Shard. Ariel's been solid so far, 62.5, 65, and now 67.5 in the 62 kilo ladies division. The bar is loaded for Ariel. Of course, one half of the power couple, it is Coco's Gym. Unfortunately, just lost that at the top, but she's got plenty of time for another attempt. Short about 55 seconds. She's got tons of time to attempt again. This is 67.5 kilos. Ariel weighed in at 56 kilos. It's 20 kilos over her body weight nearly. Unfortunately, that's a missed lift for Ariel at 67.5. The bar will stay at 67.5 for Kalana de Sena Fernandez from Hong Kong. There's about 35 seconds left on the clock. She's got a fair amount of time. This is Kalana de Sena Fernandez from Hong Kong. She pressed 65 kilos on her second attempt. This is 67.5. Lifting in the 62.5 kilo ladies class. We nearly had some YouTube footage there of a somersault on stage. She's got about 10 seconds left, so if she gets a wriggle on, she might get a final attempt here. 67.5 kilos for Kalana. I don't think she's got the gas left in the tank. Unfortunately, she's timed out there. Now, if Jason can just share the next screen with me, that'd be super. So a missed lift there for Kalana. The bar will now go to 70 kilos for Huey Min Ayu from Singapore. After Huey Min, Carly, Tanya, Ray, Camilla, and Lucia. So the bar is loaded. Huey Min Yu from Singapore. We saw a good lift of 67.5 for her second attempt. This is 70 for Min for her third and final attempt. She did win her class in the Singapore Static Monsters. So we've got about 30 seconds left on the clock. She'll get another attempt in here. As I was saying, she did win this at, she's called it now. Okay, mislift there for Min. The bar will now go to 72.5. 72.5 for Carly Oliveira. Looks like the bars are loaded for Carly Oliveira, the American from Boise, Indiana. 72.5 kilos on the bar. And if you haven't already and you're sitting in the go, have a free sample over there from Rachel at CHS Nutrition. She's Instagramming right now that she's bored because nobody's getting any free samples. So please get over there and get some free samples after you watch Carly press this 72.5 kilo log. Come on, Carly. Got about 15 seconds left on the clock. It looks like Carly's pulled the pin. We'll see her back shortly to deadlift. The bar will stay at 72.5 for Tanya Duncan, who unfortunately has missed this on her first two attempts. Third and final this weight for Tanya Duncan from Victoria. Let's not send her back to Victoria without a good lift here. Bar's loaded for Tanya. After Tanya, we'll have Ray Vogler, Camilla Fogagnolo, and Lucia Delanocchi. Come on, Tanya Duncan from Victoria. Third and final attempt at this weight. And why didn't you do that the first time? Good lift there from Tanya. She stays in the contest. Good lift of 72.5 kilos after giving everyone a good scare. The bar will now go to 85 kilos. Tanya Duncan, you could have done that the first time. Would have made everyone's life a lot easier. The bar at 85 kilos for Ray Vogler. The Queenslander, we've seen open on 75, go 80 kilos. She's called for 85 for her third attempt. At the moment, there's two athletes on 80 kilos. Ray is hoping to break that deadlock. There's Ray is on 80 kilos, Camilla is on 80 kilos, Lucia, of course, on 95. The bars are loaded for Ray, hoping to break that deadlock. Going to get herself a nice little bit of opening those sinuses up. Third attempt for Ray here, 85 kilos. Ray's got about 40 seconds. She's got plenty of time. Let's see Ray get this. It'll put her ahead of Camilla in a second spot at this stage. Camilla, of course, has a come. And she's called it. At the moment, we still have two athletes on 80 kilos with Lucia on 95. So Camilla has her opportunity to break this deadlift. 85 will stay on the bar for Camilla. Camilla's come all the way from Tasmania. Brought a passport with her, no doubt. 85 kilos on the bar for Camilla. She missed this on her second attempt, but she'll be able to get this to jump ahead of Ray. They look pretty close, ladies and gentlemen. Not quite good enough, though. She still has 55 seconds. Plenty of time to try this again. I'm sure Ray is watching this intently. And as is the way in strongman, she'll be cheering her on while just quietly going, geez, you better miss this. But there is 85 kilos. It's the second time attempting this weight for Camilla. The Tasmanian will be hoping to put a little bit of space between herself and Ray coming into the deadlifts. I don't think he can get much closer without getting it there. It looks like about 4 seconds left, so timed out, unfortunately, for Camilla. 1 second. And so best lift for Camilla is the same as Ray with 80 kilos in the 72.5 class. So tying in second position. The bar will now go to 100 kilos for your current leader, Lucia Del Nocchi. She equaled the Australian record with a 95 kilos as her opener, and then missed her second attempt at 100 kilos. This will be another attempt at the Australian record of 100 kilos. And we'd love to see her take this record home today. Bar is loaded. The Queenslander, Lucia Del Nocchi. There we go. And the judges say, thumbs up all round. Lucia didn't care. She was cheering before the judges put their hands up. And there we go. 100 kilos Australian record for Lucia Del Nocchi. And that concludes the 62.5 and the 72.5 kilo ladies division. Now we just got a couple of minutes while we move this lift so we don't have the beeping happening. And then we'll have the 80 and the 90 kilo men's. So stand by for just a couple of minutes while I tell you about some sponsors we got here today. First of all, I'll say if you haven't gone over there and got some samples and bought some stuff off of Rachel at THS, do that now. I want to tell you about Explosive Vape. Now we know Explosive Vape is sponsoring strongman events around the world, but I've got some nice things to say about them. Explosive Vape wanted to create clothing that would last through a rigorous training and suit strongmen and bodybuilders who like wearing big sizes during training. But the designs had to be something more too. Wanting to go further than just simply adding a logo to everything, we wanted designs that reflected the mindset, the positive attitude, or the gritty backdrop of the basic animal instinct to just lift stuff. Explosive Vape started in April of 2014, and by the end of the year covered all the major strongman markets. Explosive Vape have grown quickly due to amazing support. Explosive Vape are probably one of the only brands to supply all clothing from small to 5XL, and on request you can get a 6 or a 7XL, which is a fairly significant gentleman. Explosive continues to support many major competitions around the world, including in Australia, and with growing success we plan to expand into other areas of fitness, help support and clothe athletes in many different walks of life. So get on board, ladies and gentlemen, jump on the Explosive Vape website, have a look at their stuff. You all get your smartphones, so you can get on there and like their page too, and we'll get some appreciation happening for them. Just a few minutes, we'll have the 80 and 90 kilo men up. In the meantime, we've got some squash action happening on the field over there, some athleticism. I'm told it's the Squash Australian Doubles Open, and next week will be the World Open here as well. So go check out some squash and some squeaky shoes and funny looking sunglasses, and then come back and watch some people over here. We've got about 90 seconds by the looks of it before we have Terence Viviers on deck. If you look over to your left-hand side, you can see some world-class shadow squash. And it looks like we'll have 9 kilos as the opening weight here for Terence Viviers. The impressive thing, of course, in this division is nobody will be opening on less body weight. We're just waiting on the head judge. We've got Drew chat rather than judging a competition. So here we go. Looks like the bar is loaded for Terence Viviers. He's made the trip over from Natal. Opening 90 kilo log press. After Terence, there'll be Louis, Oxhi, Priscus, Aaron, Les, Cam, Eric, in that order. That was so fast, I was looking the wrong way, but we got thumbs up, so it must have been a good lift. Good lift there, Terence Viviers. The bar will now go to 92.5 for Louis Arieta from the Philippines. Bar will go to 92.5 for Louis Arieta from the Philippines. Looks like I'll have a wait for some thumbs up. We got some thumbs up there from the judges for Louis Arieta. The bar will now go to 105 for Yoshi Fujita. At the moment I'm resisting any urges for talking about Mario, but Yoshi Fujita from Japan, Osaka I believe. Looks like they're putting the big wheels on the log to make it up to 105 kilos. He's come out from Japan for the event today. The bar is loaded for Yoshi Fujita from Japan. Good lift there for Yoshi with 105 kilos for the Japanese. The bar will stay at 105 now for Priscus Fogagnolo from Tasmania. Like Yoshi, he had to bring his passport to get here. And the bar is loaded for Priscus Fogagnolo, 105 kilos. A good lift there for the Taswegian Priscus Fogagnolo, 105. The bar now goes to 110. We'll have Aaron Rhodes out here with 110, followed by Les Grills, Cam Taylor, Lee Shaw, and Eric Scola, the American, with an enormous 140 kilo opener. We've got some fingers coming out to count, to check we've got the weight right on the bar here for the 110 kilo opener for Aaron Rhodes from Hong Kong. Well, we might be in some agreement now. We've got the weight right with 110 kilos for Aaron Rhodes from Hong Kong. And the bar is loaded. Rhodes from Hong Kong opening a log press attempt with 110 kilos in the 80 kilo men's division. There's a good lift there, and the bar will stay at 110 for Les Grills, the returning champion in the 80 kilos division. Also the champion at the Pro Raw powerlifting, a bit of a jack of all trades. And when you see him with his shirt off, because he likes taking it off, you will see he's the jack of all trade. He is Les Grills, opening a log press attempt. Your returning champion, 110 kilos. Looks pretty solid there for your returning champion, Les Grills, also known as Australia's strongest crossfitter. The bar will stay at 110 for Cam Taylor from Victoria. Les, of course, was lifting the 80 kilos division. That's the biggest press so far in the 80 kilos division. And the bar is now loaded for Cam Taylor from Victoria, lifting the 90 kilos men's division, opening on 110 kilos. After Cam, we'll have Lee Shaw and Eric Escola. A good lift there for Cam. And the bar will now go to an enormous 135 kilos for the Queenslander, Lee Shaw. So 135 will go on the bar for Lee Shaw. This is a 90 kilo men's class. And after Lee, we'll see Eric Scola, the American, come over there and try and jump. That was 140. Second opening attempt. So 135 on the bar, just short of 300 pounds for Lee Shaw. Bar loaded Lee Shaw, the Queenslander, 105 kilos, just shy of 300 pounds. Super fast and easy like you'd expect an opener to be. And finally we have Eric Escola, the American, 140 kilos will go on the bar for Eric. 140 kilos, of course, 308 pounds where Eric comes from. That's an enormous press in the 90 kilo class if he is successful. I'm advised by Drew Spriggs, who's a pretend American on the starting strongman forum, that it's called Freedom Units where Eric comes from. But there's 8 pounds on the bar. The bar is loaded for Eric Escola, the American. 308 of those Freedom Units that aren't for anyone. It's 140 kilos. If you haven't already, ladies and gents, you've got Rachel over there with the gloves on. Yeah, it's somebody's birthday. Go and get yourself some free samples, and look at that. And some athletics there from Eric. He's got a little bit of time up his sleeve, and he'll be having a second attempt at that, no doubt. He's got about 20 seconds, so he's got a little bit of time up his sleeve. The American Eric Escola having his attempt at this, 140 kilos. Obviously showed he was strong enough to do it, and he's just called it now. He'll come back and get that on his second attempt, no doubt at all. The bar will now go back to 100 kilos for Terence Viviers, the South African from the Natal region, lifting in the 90 kilos men and 100 kilos on the bar for Terry. The bar is loaded for Ter. He's come out from Natal, South Africa for the Static Monsters World Championship. One of 14 countries, 522 people trying to qualify for this event. 100 kilos on the bar after a successful 90. There we go, no problems at all by the looks of it. Wait for the judges. Got some thumbs up, good lifting there from Ter Viviers. The bar will stay at 100 kilos for Louis Arieta from Philippines. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, I can't count that high. Hang on. 7 countries represented out of 10 people in this division, which is pretty spectacular. But 100 kilos has stayed on the bar for Louis Arrieta. The bar is loaded for Louis from the Philippines, lifting the 80 kilos men's division. Here at the beautiful Carrara Indoor Stadium, sharing it with the elite of squash playing in the Australian Open Doubles Championships. We're seeing some elite shadow squash over there to your left. And we're seeing Louis here press an enormous 100 kilos over his head after a long flight from the Philippines. The bar will now go to 110 kilos for Yoshifumi Fujita from Japan. A very cosmopolitan flight here with quite a few countries represented. The bar is loaded, 110 kilos for Yoshifumi Fujita. We saw Yoshi open on 105 kilos. He's called for 110 as his second attempt, lifting in the 80 kilo men's class. Gets a down call from the judges. And good lift there. Have a go at those lifting shoes, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you get stuff like that outside of Harajuku. The bar will stay at 110 for Priscus Fogagnolo from Tasmania. Bar is loaded for Priscus. $110 kilos for Priscus. He had 105 earlier today. Made it look a little bit hard. Well, we got thumbs up from the judges. Good lifting there, Priscus. You may have seen he had a quiet word to the bar on the way up. I think that word might have been just please keep going. Whatever it was, it worked. So the bar will now go to 117.5 for Aaron Rhodes from Hong Kong, lifting in the 80 kilo men. He is currently equal with Les Grills at the pointy end of that field. In fact, Les, Aaron, and also Yoshi have all had 110 kilos, but Les and Aaron have both got a lifted hand. The bar is loaded now for Aaron Rhodes, 117.5, hoping to take the interim lead in the 80 kilo men's class. 117.5 on the bar for Aaron Rhodes from Hong Kong. A good lift here will break a bit of a deadlock and put himself in the lead in the 80 kilo division of this early stage. And I'll tell you what, that looked pretty good to me. It looked good to the judges too. Thumbs up all around. 117.5 does put him in the lead in the 80 kilo class at this stage. But this man, last year's winner, has something to say about that. The bar is loaded for Les Grills. He's called for a 117.5 to equal Aaron Rhodes and stay equal with him coming into the deadlift portion of the show. 117.5 kilos for Les Grills, last year's champion. Also the champion of Pro Raw powerlifting this year. And a CrossFitter. Australia's strongest CrossFitter, or Australia's most jacked static monster, who knows? Looks pretty good from here, and good thumbs up from the judges. So that makes it very exciting with both Les and Aaron with 117.5. Now we go to the 90 kilos men with Cam Taylor. It's called the same 117.5, so the bar is loaded for Cam Taylor. The Victorian has called for 117.5 in the 90 kilo division. Cam gets a down call, gets him up. Good lifting there, Cam Taylor. Now next up we have Eric Escola, the American from San Diego. Has for 140, unfortunately missed this on his first attempt. He's called for 140 on his second attempt. It's Eric Escola. He won his qualifier, of course, in San Diego, being one of 522 people worldwide who attempted to qualify for this event. He's got himself out here to Australia, and the bar loaded for Eric Escola, 140 kilos, 308 pounds in San Diego. This is the 90 kilo men's class. We saw in his first attempt, he pressed it easy as pie and just had a bit of a stumble. So I think we'll see a pretty solid press here from Eric. And with a good lift on the board for Eric, I can go back to smack talking Americans, not feeling bad about it. And the bar will now go to 145 for Ali Shaw. So what the pointy end of the field in 20 kilos is Eric has now leapfrogged Ali Shaw. Lee has a best press of 135. Eric has a best press of 140. Lee Shaw has called 145. He's called 145 for his final attempt. So Eric is your leader at the moment at 140. The bar is loaded for Lee Shaw, the Queenslander. A good lift here will put him back into the lead ahead of Eric. Got about 40 seconds. He's got plenty of time up his sleeve. Lee Shaw, 145 kilos, to put himself back ahead of Eric Scolar, the American, here at the Static Monsters World Championships. He's got 20 seconds. Probably get one more throw of the dice if he doesn't muck around. Fortunately, a missed lift there for Lee. And they'll be out shortly for their third attempts. Just be a short wait while we start the next round. So thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Explosive Ape, Stand or Submit. Wait till you see the axle press that's coming out from Stand or Submit. All Metal Magic, who did the fantastic trophies. If you're in the indoor stadium here at Carrara, please come down and have a look at these trophies. If you're at home, you're just going to take my word for it. If you're at home, actually, because of the magic of TV, I'll show you. These what these trophies look like. So you'll find Chad might be one short or two short if I take a couple home from my shed. But yeah, good looking trophies. A well done to All Metal Magic for their great support of today's event. At the back from Champion Health, we have James Grafton out there offering physiotherapy services to the athletes. And it looks like in about 3 minutes we'll be having our athletes back on deck for their final attempts. Looks like the Shadow Squash players are over there taking full advantage of the THS sponsorship of the event, which we appreciate. So hopefully they do the right thing and swipe their credit card and buy something off Rachel, and maybe they'll support the squash next year as well. Got about 1.5 minutes until we've got our lifters on deck. Our first lifter out will be Terence Viviers from South Africa, from Natal, with 105 kilos. Terence will be followed by Lewis, Yoshi, Priscus, Aaron, Les, Cam, Eric, and Lee. Looks like we got a big thank you to the support crew here. Of course, the loaders, spotters, Lily with a big grin on the desk there, who's been liaising back and forth. Got our judges, Drew Spriggs, Colin Webb, and John Wells. Everyone's just diligently checking their phones for urgent messages from home, I think. Drew demonstrates the accuracy required in a strongman show by confirming that it is time. 105 kilos. Vivieres, the bar is loaded. Comes Ter Vivieres from Natal, South Africa. Best log so far, 100 kilos. Call for 105 for his third and final log attempt. We'll see these guys out later on today with the deadlift portion of the show. But this is a final log press attempt for Ter. $105 kilos on the bar in the 90 kilos men's division. He's still got a bit of time. He's got 20 seconds. He's got enough for another attempt. If it was the half rep champion of the world, he'd be on 17 reps so far. And unfortunately, that's time. So Terence's second lift of 100 will be his best lift of the day. The bar will stay at 105 for Louis Arrieta from the Philippines. The bar is loaded for Louis Arrieta from the Philippines. If you're playing at home, or even if you're here and can use a smartphone, you can jump on staticmonsters.com and follow the score sheet online. So if you're playing along at home, or if you've got a smartphone here in the arena in the Rara Indoor Sports Stadium, follow along on staticmonsters.com. We've got a live score sheet on there. This is Louis Arrieta from the Philippines. He's got about 20 seconds left. He's called it there. The best lift of the day for Louis will be 100 kilos. The bar will now go to 115 for Yoshi. So Yoshi is currently sitting in third spot, but it looks like, yeah, third spot in the 80 kilo class. And we're hoping to get a little closer to Les and Aaron. Yoshi looks different when he's not sitting on the Mario Kart. And it looks like we're going to be loading that to 115 for Yoshi's third and final attempt from Osaka. He's wearing the greatest lifting shoes I've ever seen. If you haven't seen his lifting shoes, you'll have to get to a live event and come and see them. The bar is loaded for Yoshi. You'll see the sparkles coming off his lifting shoes as he walks out. I would expect nothing else from Osaka. Good lift there for Yoshi, 115 kilos. That bar stays at 115 for Priscus Fogagnolo from Tasmania. Here he comes, Priscus Fogagnolo, 115 kilos on the bar for the Tasmanian. He's got about 20 seconds. He gets just enough time for another attempt. That is our third and final log press. And unfortunately, time out, mislift there for Priscus. And if Jason's kind to me, he'll show me the screen and I'll tell you what's going on next. There we go. So 122.5 on the bar for Les Grills. Of course, we've seen Les Grills and Aaron Rhodes. They've gone head-to-head so far. They both went 110. They both went 117. They're both at the pointy end of the 80-kilo class. Les is last year's champion, of course. Les has called for 122.5. The bar is loaded. Les Grills, 122.5 kilo log press attempt. And the 80 kilos men's. This will put him ahead of Aaron Rhodes. But Aaron, of course, has a lift to come. Yoshi Fujita is in third in the 80-kilo class at this stage of the contest. 122.5 for Les Grills. Well, that's a sort of dancer you'd normally see at Cavill Avenue. But got him the goods today. So 122.5 kilos. That puts him in the lead in the 80-kilo class. He's last year's champion. This man wants to have something to say about that, though, from Hong Kong, Aaron Rhodes. Has called for an enormous 125 kilos. 125 will go on the bar as a final log press attempt. Will put him in the lead if he is successful with this lift over Les Grills with the deadlift to come. Bar is loaded all the way from Hong Kong is Aaron Rhodes. 125 kilos on the bar. With the best lift so far of 117.5, it does put him 5 kilos adrift of last year's champion Les Grills. He's called for a big jump to 125. So hopefully a jump over Les and give himself a little bit of breathing room coming into the deadlifts. Got a little bit of time. Oh, he's got about 10 seconds, so he's going to have to wriggle on if he's going to get this. About 10 seconds on the clock. He's got one more attempt in him if he moves quick. Unfortunately, timed out there, ladies and gentlemen. So best lift is 117.5 for Aaron. Just slightly behind Les Grills, who is the leader at that division with 122.5. And Yoshi nipping their heels with 115. We've got a couple of 90 kilos athletes to go. So 125 will stay on the bar for Cam Taylor, Victorian. Bar's loaded for Cam Taylor. Good lift there from Cam Taylor, 125 kilos. Bar now goes to 145. So at the pointy end here, we've got Eric Scola, best lift to 140, and Lee Shaw, best lift to 135. Eric Scola from San Diego has called for 145. The Americans called for 145 to jump ahead further. Put a bit of distance to himself and Lee Shaw. So whilst we're waiting for this to come out, don't forget, check out sponsors, Explosive 8, big sponsor of Australian and international strength sports. And where we go, we got the bar is loaded there for Eric Escola from the USA, 145 kilos. He's currently leading Lee Shaw by 5 kilos. A good lift here will be 10 kilos clear. Lee, of course, does have a lift to come. 145 kilos on the bar for Eric Escola in the 90 kilo men's class. Won his division, of course, in Static Monsters San Diego. To qualify for this event, he's one of 522 athletes around the world from 14 countries. Here we go, 145 kilos. He's got a little bit of time up his sleeve. He's got about 20 seconds. If he gets a wriggle on, he'll get another attempt. He's got 20 seconds left for Eric Escola, 145. About 10 seconds left on the clock now for Eric Scola. And a missed lift there, unfortunately, for Eric. Best lift today is 140, which does keep him in the lead. But this man wants to say something about 145 for Lee Shaw, the Queenslander. Lee is currently in second on 130. He's called for 145 for his second attempt, which he missed. But he's having another attempt at this 145. A good lift here. The bar is loaded for Lee Shaw. A good lift here will put him in the lead in the 90 kilo class coming into the deadlifts. After this lift, we'll have a short break, and then we have the Masters part of the show. He's got a bit up his sleeve. He's got about another 35 seconds up his sleeve. Really wants to get this lift to put him ahead of Eric Scolar coming into the deadlifts. 145 kilos. Got about 14 seconds left. He's called it there. And that concludes that flight of lifting. Of course, then it puts Eric Scola 140 above Lee Shaw and 135 in the 90 kilo class. We'll just have a few minutes now, ladies and gentlemen. And then we'll have the Masters men lifting immediately afterwards. Thanks to our sponsors today, Explosive Ape, Champion Health, Coco's Gym, All Metal Magic, Stand or Submit, and Alpha Fit. You'll see when the deadlifts come along shortly, you'll see the fantastic Stand or Submit axle. I think we are calling it the paddle wheeler. There's always a name for Stand or Submit gear. I think it's been known as the paddle wheeler. Just be a couple of minutes, I'll find out from the judges exactly how long we'll be waiting, and we'll have the Masters men up for the log presses. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like we've got about 3 minutes till the first lifter in the Masters class will be on deck. My list doesn't have the ages of these guys, but rest assured they're all really old. But we've got Simon Yates from the UK. It's a genuinely cosmopolitan class today. Simon Yates from the UK, Chris Vaccio from USA, Rich Farrell from New Zealand bro, Shannon Willits from the USA, Benny Shezem, he's from New South Wales, Eben LaRue from Queensland via South Africa, and Lance Lavalley from Canada. Canada to some people. But anyway, it looks like we've got about a minute or so until Simon Yates. I'm just waiting on a head judge to come and take their seat. Because we run a professional show here, we're waiting for the head judge to get back from the bathroom to start lifting today. What we like to hear, hopefully there's a speaker in the bathroom, and Colin's lifting right now that everyone's waiting on Colin to finish his business. But there will be Simon Yates, who had 102.2 kilos, by far the smallest of the Masters competitors, which meant his flight from London was far more comfortable than everyone else, so sucked in everybody else. He's come over here with a couple of partners. Apparently Rob Frampton was supposed to join him. Unfortunately, Rob Frampton has hurt his back, which demonstrates that Simon is far more robust, Rob Frampton. 110 kilos will be the opening log attempt for Simon Yates. Looks like we've got Colin Webb with his first run since 1996. Running up to the stage here. He's showing the same athleticism of the squash players who are sharing our arena. He's walking the rest of the way to get his breath back before we go on. 110 kilos on the bar. What do you reckon, Colin? We're going to lift some weights? The bar is loaded for Simon Yates from London, United Kingdom. 110 kilos. After Simon will be Chris Vaccio, Rich Farrell, Shannon Willits, Benny Shezem, Eben LaRue, and Lance Lavalley. It was worth a trip just to get an Instagram with this log, I reckon. It's a great looking log from a stand or submit. The bar will now go to 115 kilos for Chris Vaccio. Out of Columbus, Ohio, which means Chris noted to me there's an open invitation. If anyone's going to the Arnold, you can stay at Chris's house. 115 on the bar, please, for Chris Vaccio from Columbus, Ohio. Bar is loaded. As you can see by his kilt, he is displaying his Cuban heritage. And I don't know if that's no push press because the kilt won't allow it, or if you decided to do it the whole hard way. But anyway, 115 is a good lift. Bar stays at 115 for Rich Farrell from Inzid. Bar is loaded for Rich. 115 kilos, the North Islander. He's an international, but didn't come too far. No doubt being a Kiwi landing on the Gold Coast, they tried to give him a security ticket and a scaffolding ticket as he arrived. We got some thumbs up from the judges there for Rich Farrell, 115. I'll now go to 125 for Shannon Willits. These Masters athletes are showing their experience by actually getting organised and getting to the bar quick. So we'll be having a bit of a rest between flights to give these guys a good chance to recover. It's only quite a small flight of Masters athletes. The rest of their competitors apparently have got old and died. But 125 will be on the bar for Shannon Willits, another American, out of Jackson, Florida. Bar is loaded for Shannon Willits, weighing in at 165 kilos of a pure sex appeal. Apparently push pressing has missed the thing in America, but anyway, another American strict pressers, 125. Bar now goes to 130 for Benny Shezem from New South Wales. We're on the Gold Coast here, so we're pretty much in New South Wales, just on the border, here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Arena. 130 on the bar for the biggest press so far in this division. Bar is loaded for Benny Shezem. Benny appreciates somebody went to a lot of effort to order that shirt. Now he's cut the sleeves off. Gets a down call and a whole bunch of thumbs up from the judges. Good lifting there, Benny Shesam. I now goes for 140 kilos for Eben LaRue from Queensland via South Africa. One of Australia's most recognised strong, of course, has competed at World's Strongest Man and has been recognised as the strongest man in Australia a number of times by his peers. 140 kilos will be on the bar for Eben LaRue. Bar is loaded for Eben. Always an entertaining lifter to see lift, has been around the sport for a long time in Australia. Unfortunately, just got a bit loose at the top there. He showed he's plenty strong enough to press it though. And it was so nice he did it twice. 140 kilos for Eben LaRue in the books. The bar will now go to 147 for Lance Lovely. Lovely Lance is lovely. 147.5 kilos on the bar for the Canadian. Universally known as the nicest people in the world, so I'll be nice to him. 147.5 kilos for Lance. Bar is loaded. Lance Lovely from Canada. 147.5 kilos for will be the biggest press so far in the Masters division. The biggest press so far in this division, if he is successful, for Lance from Canada for this event today. Gets a down call and thumbs up from the judges. Good lifting there. We'll have a short break to let these guys get their breath back. And we're back to Simon Yates with 120 in just a couple of minutes. Let's have a couple of minutes here, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, go check out the THS guys over there. Get some free samples. Go buy some stuff. Support those who support the sport. If you want to see some athleticism, and this isn't enough for you, check out the Australian doubles squash championship over there at the other side of the arena. We might be fortunate enough to see some more shadow squash playing shortly. Just got a couple more minutes here, just giving these guys a chance to recover. Oh. So a couple of minutes here, just where we getting back on stage. I might go jump over here with the heavyweights. I like feeling the smallest guy in the field. I might go see Chris Vacchio, who's come over here, and he can explain that I've balls up his name 18 times in a row. How many times did I balls up your name?
Actually, not bad.
I'm doing all right, hey, for an Australian. As long as it starts with a V and ends with an O, it's happy. I'm going to work on that. His entire athletic career has been stuffed up. We'll see if we can get it right today with Vacchio. Anyway, we've got Simon Yates on deck shortly. I think we've got it. We'll be calling it pretty shortly. We've got Simon there looking ready to go. He's over there with a mouth guard in hand. What do you reckon, Head Judge Colin Webb? Head Judge Colin Webb says, yeah, sure, the bar is loaded. Simon Yates from the UK, 120 kilos for his second attempt. 120 kilos for the second attempt for the Londoner out of Surrey. A couple of training partners made the trip over for him. I'm sure there's nothing else to see in the Gold Coast. We did have a good open of 110 for Simon. There's about 30 seconds left on the clock. There, missed lift unfortunately there for Simon Yates. He'll have a third attempt shortly though. The bar will now go to 122.5 for the Kiwi Rich Farrell. This log, of course, is a pretty special log made by Mason there at Stand or Submit, who makes a lot of our equipment. Of course, a great supporter of a strongman in Australia. I'm told that it's a replica of the one he made for the log press world record holder, Zadrinas Savickas. And it's the outsides actually represent a building in Lithuania. But here we go, the bar is loaded for a Rich Farrell, the Kiwi, all the way from Inzidbro. Gets a down call. And yep, that was mean, bro. So yeah, 122.5 kilos. Goes to 125 now for Chris Vaccio from Columbus, Ohio. He's a legend of strength sports around the world, quite well known. And I'm getting told from the cheap sheets here that he's ran the biggest strongman comp ever. I thought Static Monsters was the biggest strongman comp ever, but Chris's was pretty good too. But anyway, we've got 125 on the bar. 275 in Columbus, Ohio. 472 athletes. That's nearly as big as our 522. But it was a good effort, Chris. 125 on the bar, please. I can't hear now. He's talking in American. But there's 275 pounds on the bar. 125 kilos for Chris Vaccio. Missed lift there, unfortunately, for Chris Vaccio. Now goes to 135 for Shannon Willits. Just shy of 300 pounds for Shannon from Jacksonville, Florida. Which, with my understanding of listening to Two Life Crew and stuff, I thought Jacksonville was a bit of a party town, but apparently it's not really. It's a bit of a retirement village. Anyway, I can't believe that. I like to imagine there's good nightclubs in Jacksonville. Shannon Willits, the bar is loaded, 135 kilos, just shy of 300 pounds. Gets a down call and see if we get some thumbs up. Some thumbs up from the judges. Good lift there, Shannon Willits from the USA, 135 kilos. The bar will stay at 135 now for Benny Chesham from New South Wales. The bar is loaded for, hang on. The bar is loaded for Benny Chesham from New South Wales. Solid looking press there from Benny. Thumbs up from the judges. Good lift, 135. Bar will now go to an enormous 150 kilos for Eben LaRue. Lance Laverly from Canada went 147.5. Eben said, well, anything you can do, I can do better. It's called for 150 kilos. Eben LaRue, the Queenslander, via South Africa, is called for 150 kilos. 330 pounds for our American friends. 150 kilos for anyone else on the planet. Here he comes, Eben LaRue. Weighing on head Judge Colin Webb to call him over. The bar is loaded for Big Eben. He pressed his opener twice because it was so easy. So he's called for 150 for his second attempt. 330 pounds for those people watching, cheering on Lance Laverly. and of course Chris and Shannon from the USA. The stables, it's down call 150. That is the biggest lift in this flight so far, and in fact the biggest lifter of static monsters so far. There we go. This is a very log, even don't throw it to the crowd or to the squash courts. Lance, of course, open on 147.5 kilos. The bar is loaded for Lance's a second attempt at 157.5. 157.5 on the bar for Lance Lavalley from Canada. He'll be hoping, he's just been leapfrogged by Eben LaRue. He'll be hoping to take this to bring him back in the lead in the Masters men's division of the show. He's got about 20 seconds left. He's got another crack at it if he doesn't muck around. He's hoping to get back ahead of Eben with this. At the moment, Eben does have the biggest log press with the 150. This is a 157.5 attempt. And unfortunately, a missed lift there for Lance. 157.5 does mean we'll have a bit of a break, waiting for the third attempt for these athletes. Biggest press of the flight so far was Eben LaRue with 150, giving him a bit of a lead over Lance Lavalley from Canada with 147.5. And just behind we have both Shannon Willits and Benny Shesam on 135 kilos. So we're having a bit of a break, and we'll have Simon Yates back out for his third, if we have a third. He's not going to come all the way here to not take a third. Of course, big thank you to our sponsors here, Explosive Ape, here at Static Monsters. Explosive Ape, of course, an English-based brand. I think Lucia would have come out here to cheer on his countrymen. But no, we really appreciate the support for Explosive Ape. He's supported strongman events all around the world, and he's supported Static Monsters in the last 2 years of World Championships. Champion Health, James Grafton is supporting the athletes out the back. And we've got All Metal Magic, who made some fantastic trophies for the guys. Scandal Submit, who makes some of the greatest equipment in Australia and in fact in the world. They're in demand world over. And Alpha Fit for providing these solid benches that the boxes that the log is landing on. Thank you also to THS Nutrition, who've come and set up a booth. And thank you to Carrara Indoor Sports. Now, just a couple of minutes, we'll be right back with you with the third and final log press attempts today. And then we'll have the deadlift portion of the show after that. We're with you in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. So we have one more flight of a log press for the Masters men. And then we'll be having a short break while the hard-working judges, loaders and stuff will be getting ready. So we have the bars loaded for Simon Yates, 120 kilos for his final attempt. And in Gold Coast time, the axle deadlift will begin at 12:10. So that's 20 minutes from now. if you can adjust for your various time frames at home. Probably an opportunity to go check out the THS stand there and buy something off them. A word on the street is there might be a bar at the front, so you might choose that way instead. Final attempt here for Simon Yates. There we go. That was worth coming back out for. Good lifting there, Simon Yates. Rob Frampton, if you were here, you could have been cheering one too, but no, you got a sore back. Anyway, after Simon Yates, we go to 125 for Chris Vaccio, his final attempt. And yeah, he is obviously a well-known promoter in the US and has the US Nationals run last weekend, was the biggest one-day event ever in the world. 472 athletes, which is a pretty incredible result. Chris Vaccio, the bar loaded, 125 kilos. I've got to say, after running an event like that, I can't believe you travel anywhere. You're probably happy to get away from it. He's taking a throw there into the creek. Fortunately, these Alpha Fit crash pads have stopped it. He's got about 30 seconds up his sleeve as Chris Vaccio. So this will be his final roll of the dice here with 125 kilos. He's decided it's not going to happen. His opener of 115 will be his best log press of the day. The bar will now go to 127.5 for Rich Farrell, the Kiwi. So if you're here, the axle deadlift will commence at 12:10 Gold Coast time, which is about 18 minutes away. The bar is loaded for Rich Farrell, the Kiwi, 127.5. Very close, and can the Kiwi get it? .30 seconds left on the clock. He's got another roll of the dice if he hustles along here. 127. He got 122.5 as his second attempt. He's got 127 final attempt. At 114 kilos body weight, he's the second lightest in this Masters division. And a lift there, so best lift will be 122.5 for Rich Farrell. The bar will now go to 140 for Benny Shezem. We saw Benny go 135 for his second attempt. He's called 140 for his third. Benny Shezem, 140 for his third log press attempt. Benny Shezem from New South Wales. Got the earphones on there, listening to some maybe some Gary V or some I don't know who else is motivational. Some Boney M perhaps. No. Anyway, Benny Shezem, 140 kilos. If it works, it works. That Enya folk music, that's really the one that's getting going. 40 kilos. Got 25 seconds left. He's got another chance to get this. 20 seconds, Benny. Last throw of the dice with this 140 kilo press. He did get 135 earlier on. It looks like that'll be a lift there for Benny. A big attempt, 135 is his best lift. Bar will now go to 142.5 for Shannon Willits out of Jacksonville, Florida. I can't say I know much about Florida except for 2 Live Crew and alligators, so I'll try and make something up out of that. But 142.5 kilos here. The bar is loaded for Shannon Willits. If you're watching at home, you don't know 2 Live Crew, you should YouTube it. You'll be glad you did. You won't be glad if your kid did. I called it there at 1:42.5. Best lift was 1:35. Lance Laverley opened on 1:47.5. It was the biggest press at the time. Even LaRue came and knocked it off with a 1:50. So Lance called 1:57.5. He did miss this on his second attempt. Lance has called 1:57.5 for his third attempt, hoping to jump ahead of Eben at the stage of the show. Of course, after we finish this, we will have a break for about 15 minutes until a 12:10 Gold Coast time for the deadlifts. Bar is loaded. Lance Laverley from Canada, 157.5, trying to jump ahead of Eben LaRue. At the moment, he's sitting in a second position with a 147.5 kilo log press. He's called for 157.5. He missed this on his second attempt. He's called it for his final attempt. It was close. So he's got a bit of time up his sleeve. He's got about 40 seconds. So we get another crack at this. Hopefully only needs one more. This is a big weight to be attempting multiple times. 157.5 kilos. Unfortunately, a missed lift there for Lance. It does leave him 2.5 kilos adrift of Eben LaRue, who has a lift in hand. Eben, who has called 160 kilos for his final log press attempt. Eben, of course, is a previous World's Strongest Man competitor. And he's also well known for having a massive deadlift. So he's put himself in a fairly good position at this stage. 160 kilos will really put him in a hard position for the others to beat. We're hearing Uncle Eben, so maybe some family secrets we don't know about there. 160 kilos here for Eben. Bar is loaded for Eben LaRue, 160 kilos. Just getting those old sinuses cleared up there. And gets a down call there, 160 kilos. As you can see, he's pleased with that. 160 kilos for Eben LaRue, the Queenslander via South Africa. So that's it from us at Static Monsters for a few minutes anyway. So at 12:10 Queensland time, which I'll tell you is 12 minutes away, we'll be starting the deadlifts. So if you're staying at home, please check out the sponsors of today's event. Of course, All Metal Magic, Coco's Gym, Stand or Submit, Alpha Fit, and Explosive Ape and Champion Health. There's another word about Explosive Ape. They've been a massive sponsor of this event. They're the naming rights sponsor, and they're also sponsor strength events worldwide. Massively appreciate their support. And if you're looking at buying gear for yourself, going to the gym, competing in a strength sport, or just looking good, go check out Explosive Ape. Sizes up to 7XL by request, and they stock up to 5XL, which means they fit the significant gentleman. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the deadlifts for the 60, 2.5 and 72.5 kilo ladies. Ladies and gents, looks like we've got about 2 minutes. I heard from our promoter, Chad Croft, about 2 minutes, and the first athlete out, whilst this hasn't been sorted, I think the first athlete out will be Juanita Thompson from Victoria with a 160 axle. Looks like we might still be waiting on openers for Zoe Winter, Camilla Fogagnolo, and Lucia Delanoki. Got a spot, a judge's platform going in just a moment. Okay, lifting will be in this order when we're on. The open will be 160. Juanita Thompson, Kalana DeSena Fernandez, Chloe Burney, Tanya Duncan, Carly Ariel, Zoe Ellis, Yui Min, Ray, Camilla, and then Lucia. That will be the lifting order. So we got John Wells here on a deck. We are lifting. Okay, first lifter on deck is Juanita Thompson, 160 kilos. Down call there, thumbs up from the judges. Good lift there from Juanita Thompson. The bar stays at 160 now for Kalana DeSena Fernandez from Hong Kong. Bar is loaded for Kalana. Very, very fast and easy there for Kalana. Thumbs up from the judges. Bar will stay at 160 now for Chloe Burney from South Australia. Comes Chloe with 160 kilos. Some very fetching pink shoes there. If only she could get a hold of Juanita's wrist wraps, we'd have a matching set. Gets a down call and the thumbs up. Good lifting there from Chloe Burney from South Australia. Bar now goes to 165, 165. And that will be for Tanya Duncan. Tanya will be followed by Carly Ariel, Zoe Ellis, Min, Ray, Lucia, and Camilla. Tanya Duncan from Victoria. We saw a solid 72.5 kilo log press earlier from Tanya. And no scares this time. She tried to give everyone a scare with her log press. No dramas with her opening axle attempt at 165. Ivana goes to 167.5 for the American Carly Oliveira. Bar is loaded for Carly Oliveira from the USA. Lifting in the 62.5 kilo class. This flight is combined 62.5 kilo women and 72.5 kilo women. The bar moved very, very well then and gets a thumbs up for her lift. So bar now goes to 175 for a local girl, Ariel Shard. One half of the power couple from Coco's gym. Big thank you to Ariel for loaning her TV to the platform here. Loan her TV complete with bookmarks. So 175 kilos is on the bar for Ariel Ashard. So fast and strong from Ariel, no mistake whatsoever, very experienced athlete. Barna goes to 180 for Zoe Winter. The bar is loaded for Zoe Winter. This fantastic axle courtesy of a stand or submit. Good lifting there from Zoe Winter, the Queenslander. Bar now goes to 190 for Ellis Taylor. As I was saying, this bar is from a stand or submit. It's a fantastic looking axle. It's been known locally around here as the paddle wheeler. We know Mason down there at stand or submit likes to name his equipment. That one might stick for this one. But anyway, it's the paddle wheeler for now. 190 kilos will be going on it for Ellis Taylor from Singapore. Bar is loaded for Ellis Taylor. Easy pull there from Ellis Taylor out of Singapore. Bar will now go to 210 for Min Yu out of Singapore. Their bar is loaded for Min Hu out of Singapore, lifting the 62.5 kilo ladies class. Best log was 67.5 kilos. It's called for a huge 210 kilo opener. First over 200 kilo deadlift in this division so far. First of many, no doubt. So no dramas at all there. Thumbs up from the judges. Good lift. Bar now goes to 215 for Ray Vogler. Bar is loaded for Array of Vogler. 215 kilos after an enormous 80 kilo logger press. Alongside with Camilla Fogagnolo. She's an equal second in this division so far. No mistake from the very experienced athlete there. 215 kilos in the books. The bar will now jump to 232.5. 232.5 for Lucia Della Noche. Last year's champion. We saw earlier today Lucia set a new Australian log press record, becoming the first Australian woman of any weight class to press 100 kilos in the log press. That did give her a handy lead coming into the deadlifts. We might be taking our shoes off here with loaders, trying to count up how many weights should go on this bar. Running out of fingers. That's it. Joke with the weight that this bar is designed as well. The bar is loaded there for Lucia Della Noche. Last year's a winner. This to give her a very handy total at this stage of the competition. Gets a down call there. Puts it on a subtotal, or a total at this stage of 332.5. But maybe not for long. Camilla Olo from Tasmania has called for an enormous 255 kilo opening at deadlift attempt. Camilla only log pressed 80, but a successful deadlift here will actually jump over Lucia by 2.5 kilos with 2 lifts to come. Here she goes, 255. And just like that, thumbs up and takes the lead at this stage contest in the 72.5 kilo women's division. There we are, back to the start of the flight here. Second deadlifts here for Juanita Thompson. Bars loaded for Juanita Thompson. 170 kilos second deadlift attempt. She did open on 160. She called for 170. That was a hard way up, but quite good. Thumbs up there. Good lifting there for Juanita Thompson. Bar now goes to 170. 170 for Kalina Desena Fernandez from Hong Kong. The bar is loaded for Kalina. 170 kilos. I went down a little bit fast there, just missed the down call. She'll have another crack at it, no doubt. She got 30 seconds up her sleeve. 15 seconds. She might have a last throw of the dice if she's quick. Unfortunately, she's timed out there. She'll have a third and final attempt shortly. Bar will now go to 162.5 once. Goes 162.5. We're just out of order. So the 162.5, Chloe Burney. We saw how excited she was to get that 160. Hold on, Chloe. Just high on life, isn't she, Chloe? 162.5. We saw how excited she was at 160. She'll be pretty excited if she gets this, I'm sure. She said no to that. Okay, the bar goes to 175, 175 for Tanya Duncan. After Tanya, we'll have Carly, Ariel, Zoe, Ellis, Min, Ray, Lucia, and Camilla. Bar is loaded for Tanya Duncan, the Victorian. Gave everyone a big scare on her log press before finishing with a 72.5. But she opened with a very strong 165 at deadlift. She got 175 for her second attempt. Gets a down call and some thumbs up from the judges. Good lifting, 175 for Tanya Duncan. Bar will stay at 175 for Carly Oliveira, the American. Bar is loaded for Carly, 175 kilos. Gets a down call, gets some thumbs up from the judges. Good lifting there, Carly Oliveira. The bar now goes to 185. 185 for Ariel Ashad. Weighing in at only 6 kilos. She is the smallest woman in this contest today. But she's attempting 185, which is one of the biggest deadlifts so far in the 62.5 kilo class. Very experienced athlete. We've seen her come along with consistency. I guess thumbs up there from the judges for 185 kilo, a second attempt. And I think that does put her in second position in the 62 kilo class at the moment. Bar now goes to 195, 195 for Zoe Winter. And you're looking at that now, yes, that does put Ariel in second position at this stage in the 62.5 kilo class, behind Hui Min Ayu from Singapore. There you go, bar is loaded, 195 for Zoe Winter. There you go. Thumbs up there for Zoe Winter. Good lifting for the Queenslander with 195. The bar now goes to 210 kilos. 210 kilos for Ellis Taylor from Singapore. Bar is loaded for Ellis Taylor from Singapore, 210 kilos. Good lift there for Ellis Taylor from Singapore, with 210 kilos in the 72.5 kilo ladies class. Bar will now go to 220 for Min Yu from Singapore. Min is currently the leader in the 62.5 kilo class. This will put her a little bit further in the lead and probably make her untouchable, I'd say, coming in the last deadlifts. So 220 kilos will be on the bar. The bar is loaded for Min Yu from Singapore. 220 kilo, a second deadlift attempt. She's the current leader, and this will put her in a pretty unassailable position coming into the final deadlifts, I'm sure. No mistake there. Thumbs up for Amin. Bar will now go to 225. 225 for Ray Vogler. Ray's currently sitting in the third position in the 72.5 kilo women's class. The bar is loaded, Ray. Currently sitting in third position in the 72.5 kilo women's class. A successful lift here will put her up to a 305 total. That's very impressive to go over 300 in this contest. Yeah, very experienced lifter, no mistake there from Ray. Okay, at the pointy end of the field, we have Lucia Del Noce with, total so far at 332, and Camilla Fagagnolo with 335. There's 2.5 kilos between them. Lucia's called for a 245, a second attempt. 245 kilo second attempt for Lucia. A good lift here will put her into the lead at this stage of the competition. The bar is loaded for Lucia, 245 kilos. This will put her in the lead with final deadlifts to come. Here at the Explosive 8 Static Monsters World Championships on the Gold Coast, Australia. She gets a down call and the thumbs up. Good lifting there from Lucia. That does put her back into the lead. And it puts her on a total of 345 at this stage, 10 kilos ahead of Camilla Fagagnolo. But Camilla has called for 265, 265. So this, a successful lift here will put her on the same total as Lucia, but as Camilla has a lighter body weight, in the event of a tie, she will be the winner. So Camilla knows this, and she's called for the same amount to match Lucia, which will force Lucia to pull for the win. Here she is, Camilla Fagagnolo, 265 kilos. And gets a down call, thumbs up. There we go, so both Camilla and Lucia are on 345 kilos. What that means is your leader is currently Camilla because she has a lighter body weight than Lucia. So third and final deadlifts will be the last time we see a 62.5 and the 72.5 kilo women on stage. Your leader in the open women is Camilla Fogagnolo by the closest possible margin on body weight from Lucia. Neither have given their final attempts yet. Looks like the bar is loaded. I can't confirm that yet. Bar is unloaded for Kalina De Sena Fernando from Hong Kong. Final time on the platform, Lana. The bar is loaded for Kalana De Sena Fernando. Got about 30 seconds left on the clock for Kalana. Good lift there, good final lift there for Kalana from Hong Kong, 170 kilos. Next up we have Juanita Thompson, 177.5 kilos on the bar. The bar is loaded for Juanita Thompson from Victoria, 177.5 kilos. About 25 seconds on the clock. Might get a final chance. That's it, unfortunately not today for that last one there for Juanita Thompson. Best slip, 70. Bar now goes to 185 for Tanya Duncan. So the bar is loaded with 185 for Tanya Duncan. Here on the Gold Coast at the explosive Apes Static Monsters World Championship 2019. Thanks to Stand or Submit for this fantastic axle deadlift apparatus. Tanya Duncan, the Victorian, will be attempting 185 kilos as her final attempt. She's called it there. So best lift was 175 there of Tanya Duncan. 195 will now go on the bar for Carly Oliveira. After Carly will be Ariel, Zoe, Ellis, Min, Ray, Lucia, and Camilla. Bars loaded with 195 for Carly Oliveira from the USA. Got about 30 seconds left. Got 20 seconds left. Might not be going to happen today, unfortunately. Best lift was her second attempt at 175. Bar will now go to 197.5. 197.5 for Ariel Shard. Currently sitting in a second position in the 62.5 class. All her lifts today have been very strong. We'll see if she can do the same for a 197.5, a final deadlift attempt. Very easy pull there from Ariel and get the white lights, or the thumbs up even. Bar now goes 205, 205 for Zoe Winter. We're now on to the 72.5 kilo women. 205 kilos for Zoe Winter. Bar is loaded for Zoe Winter, the Queenslander. 205 kilo final attempt. 80 kilo and 90 kilo class men come and give you opening deadlift attempts to the table. You got 30 seconds. A little under 30 seconds here for Zoe Winter, the Queenslander. So 15 seconds, looks like she's calling it. Best lift will be her second attempt at 195. There we go to 235 for Ellis Taylor from Singapore. Is loaded for Ellis Taylor. Seconds left on the clock here for Ellis. Best lift of the day is 210 so far. She's caught 235 as her final. 15 seconds left. Probably one more pull. Might be timing out there, unfortunately, for Ellis Taylor on 235. Best deadlift was 210. The bar will stay at 235 for Min Yu. Min, of course, is unbeatable now in the 62.5 kilo class. This is a final pull for her attempt. 287.5 is her total. So put her up over 300 kilo mark, which is enormous.